you're going to go through this checkbox audit, right? And then the goal then is to take that checkboxes and what does it mean to my infrastructure and my purchasing decisions. So that's the key piece. There's nothing wrong with these checkbox audits. We can do them for folks as well, and we do. But we think the bigger value, I just went actually to a competitor. I'm good friends with him. I was like, show me your tool. And it's like, they had built this, you run the HIPAA audit through and you fill out all the notes in it. And then I said, well, how do you know what to recommend? They have a sales guy sit down and they look at all the things and then they come up with like a sales document of like, here's the recommendations. That's like completely like not what we're trying to do here. We want to take the results of that, flush it into a framework that we can actually measure and compare. So he's been doing this now. He's on the beta version of this 5 years ago. And he now can compare year over year by section. So for example, when he first got into this, he was frustrated, but it was like it had lower scores. But now he's built more and more strength into the program so that his scores now are like really well balanced. Now he can start to take on more advanced technologies like some advanced data governance, but he couldn't do that. It's like I think you had it 5 years ago. He was like, oh man, I got so much stuff to clean up here that we had to wait until we'd built the musculature. So that's part of the checkbox audit. You're gonna have all this stuff, then you flush it into this framework. This develops your remediation plan, okay? And then that floats into whether you use the Palo Altos. Like half the time we look at the firewalls and you're using 25% of them. Or they tried to do the DPI, like we've run into, you try to do the deep packet inspection outbound and it starts interrupting business users. And you're like, oh my God, we gotta shut that all off. We look at the firewall and it's not even doing its job. And so that's when we score it and we go, I thought I had a firewall, I should be getting an 8. I have a firewall. No, you have it's level 5. You gotta turn on these services first. So that's why we look at antivirus. Well, you have antivirus, but you scored 5 because you're not managing the exclusions properly. So we start breaking into the process piece of it, and then you can determine, okay, well, do you want RedZone to solve this? Do you want your own internal team to solve it? And you can start planning, okay, do I rent this service? Do I buy a product? Do I have my own internal team do it? And it just makes everything so much more fluid.